Hey guys, and welcome to your total lunar eclipse full moon video today. And we're going to be talking about 5 things you need to know, along with stay tuned till the end because we're going to be doing a pick a card moon message, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is, well, what is a full moon? What does this mean? And the same with eclipse. So when a full moon happens, it is a time of completion. It is a time when the moon illuminates things that need to be released. So it's a good time to do some release work. Now, eclipse will happen a couple times a year, and right now we are in eclipse season. We just had the solar eclipse back on April 30th, and now we're due for the lunar eclipse, right? And so what does this mean? Eclipse happens when the sun, the moon, and the earth all come into alignment. They form a line, so there they are in alignment with each other, okay? So like I said, it is a lunar eclipse and is a total lunar eclipse. So the moon will be cast into Earth's shadow. So let's talk about this, right? We have the sun, we have the moon, and Earth will go down the middle. And so when it does this, the sun blocks, because they're in a line, the sun blocks the sun rays from hitting the moon, which casts the shadow, right? And so during eclipse seasons and when there are eclipses, a lot of shadow energy can come up within us. But again, it comes up to be released, right? That's why it's brought up. So it's a perfect time when we have this eclipse and we have the moon to release what no longer serves us, okay? The other thing I do want to talk about, if you do want to know when the moon is and where it will be visible, it will be at, let me just check my notes, 11:14 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it will be visible in North America, South America, Africa, and Europe. Okay. All right, so that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about is, okay, so this is a supermoon, and if you guys don't know what a supermoon, it is when the moon is the closest to Earth, meaning when you see it, it looks bigger than normal. So supermoons are very powerful. They're probably a little bit more powerful than just the regular moon, so it's really intensified at this time. It is also called the blood moon, so if you're able to view it, it will have that orange, if not reddish hue to it, right? Because it looks like, that's why they call it the blood moon, right? With that reddish tint, okay? And it is also called the flower moon because why? Well, this time of year is when the flowers start to bloom, okay? So just a couple little fun facts. The next thing I do want to talk about here is the moon is in Scorpio. So what is Scorpio all about? Scorpio is all about death and rebirth. Scorpio is ruled by the scorpion. And if you know anything about scorpions, they actually shed their skin. They go through a death and rebirth process, okay? And so Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto. Pluto is death, sex, and transformation. So there is a lot of change happening, death and rebirth, transformation happening in general with eclipses, but when it happens in Scorpio and with Pluto, right? Pluto's in retrograde at this time as well. Huge time for death and rebirth, starting over, endings and beginnings, okay? The other thing I do want to say about this, well, it's in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign. So something you could do to work with the Scorpio energy right now is to work with the water energy. So if you live anywhere by water, you can go meditate out by water. You can infuse your water. Maybe you infuse it with crystals. Maybe you infuse it with some high vibrational fruits or something. Maybe you program your water with the intention that you want to use it for. Maybe you do that 2-cup method and you quantum jump in your new reality, right? There are plenty of different water manifestation techniques. Dr. Emoto has talked about all the power that water holds, right? That holds emotion, it has the vibration. And so it's a good time to connect with water. Maybe it's just when you take a shower or bath, you do a cleansing ritual. But while we have the moon in Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by the water, it's a good time to manifest with the water, okay? And also, as heavy as the eclipses are, and we talked about them resonating with the shadow, right? The Earth's shadow and one's own shadow. It's a good time to release one shadow. Maybe that's something you do want to work on with an intention setting, releasing the shadow of what no longer serves you, okay? So the third thing I want to talk about is, let's jump back into eclipses, right? Eclipses, right? They are heavier energy as that shadow comes up. But the theme that came up today was it is an accelerated time for growth, especially spiritually, right? It's almost time for that quantum jump. So if you actually do want to use that 2-cup method, it is beautiful at this time because you can quantum jump into your new reality. but that's what eclipses happens. They speed up the timelines and you can release stuff so much faster. So there's a huge acceleration of growth happening for us all individually and collectively, spiritually at this time. So you definitely want to tap into that energy so you can grow with the energies, right? The fourth thing I want to talk about, the theme that came up, is this is a time for closure. And for some of you, it's a time for closure, finally. Something that has been dragging its feet, it's been taking weeks, maybe months, maybe even years, something you have not closed a cycle with. You have not closed the chapter. You still have some unfinished business. It is finally time to close the door with that. And what more a beautiful time to deal with that Scorpion energy and the Pluto energy and all of that with the death and rebirth. So as we close out that chapter, we can start anew. All right, so big, huge closure energy is in the air. Maybe it involves conversation with somebody, however it pertains to you, but it's time to shut the door so we can move on and open that next door, okay? And the fifth and final thing that came up today was the throat chakra, right? Every moon, a chakra is affected. And while we have Mercury in Mercury in retrograde, and Mercury rules communication, right? Your throat chakra needs a little bit more support. So you can wear some light blues, you can work with some blue crystals, but just tapping into the throat chakra, maybe doing some throat chakra affirmations or some throat chakra healing. But the throat chakra right now is a good, needs a little bit more attention. So you could work with some like blue lace agate. You could work with some, any basically blue crystals will work, but like think the sky when you look at it, how light and blue it is. Amazonite is a good crystal. Just any blue energies, right? You just want to work with the blue. Blue clothes will be rather soothing for you during this time. But I think those are the 5 things I wanted to touch on today. So now we are ready to jump into the pick a card. So we are going to just do a simple 3-card pick. So right now, just decide on which number you feel most drawn to. And this will be your message for this moon cycle during this eclipse full moon, okay? All right, so let's get card number 1. Okay, jumping right out. It says talk less, feel more. Very interesting, as we talked about. For some of you, that closure was finally big things, right? That had been a long time. We had this big closure. We'll talk less, feel more, and maybe even listen more, because I did throw out there that it might actually involve a conversation that's needed for that closure. And then we talked about Mercury ruling communication and the throat chakra meaning supported. So maybe we actually need to listen and not speak so much. And that may be a part in the conversation to get some closure, right? But I think that for card 1, you probably do really relate more with that. Finally, I need that closure, and it might come in through conversation because I think I need to listen more and talk less with this card, okay? All right, so card 2. Card 2, here is your total lunar eclipse full moon message. Okay, hold on. Oh, we got 2. It says, be humble and relax, okay? It's interesting because the relax might be hard for somebody to do because I feel like go, 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 busy, busy, busy. I got to get this done. I think you're racing against the clock and you're trying to, I don't know, maybe you have a deadline or maybe that's the own deadline you did on yourself. But I think that it's almost like your own worst critic because maybe you have that perfectionism. I have to get this done. It has to be on my timeline. I'm trying to take on too much. And it's almost like breathe. Everything is happening in divine timing. And so there doesn't have to be this end all be all timeline. I need this done. I need this done. Like take that pressure off yourself, right? I think the humble energy is also saying, maybe I just need to relax because maybe there is some perfectionist brewing in your energy, right? And it's okay because you're right where you need to be. Things will happen right when they are supposed to. So tapping in that divine timing energy and just breathe. You will be okay, right? All right, so for card 3, here's your lunar eclipse full moon message. Okay, there we go. All right, forgiveness. Interesting. So who do we need to forgive? Is it self? Is it someone else? Are we harboring on to any resentment, any anger, any bitterness? As we talked about in the 4th theme, time for closure. Maybe we need to let go of self-guilt, or maybe we need to forgive others, right? It's a time to for yourself. Because what is true? What is forgiveness truly? It is always for self. When you forgive somebody else, you're the one that benefits. It's like you lose like 5 pounds. Like energetically, it takes that weight off your shoulders. So if you're harboring on to any of these negative feelings, it's only harming you. So don't forgive them for them. Just forgive them for you. But it's time to ask yourself, who do I need to forgive? Okay? All right, so that wraps up the third card. So that wraps up today's message. And if you guys got anything out of this video, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button this way. I know you got something that resonated. If you guys haven't yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell. You want to turn that bell on and hit all notifications because I do daily videos and I don't want you guys to miss out on any upcoming messages. That next message just might be the message that you need to hear today. All right, my loves, thanks so much for watching. Till next time, be blessed.